the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at the Friday the 13th reboot, released in 2009. After the climax of Freddy vs. Jason, both franchises lay dormant for a while. As they did, reboots and remakes proliferated, alongside the so-called torture porn popularized by Hostel and Saw. Gone was the era of Scream-like self-referential horror comedies. Horror movies were serious again, and it was in this world the Friday franchise would be reborn. In 2003, 2 months after Freddy and Jason Ward, the Texas Chainsaw remake revitalized that series and kicked off Reboot Mania. That movie was made by Platinum Dunes, the production company founded by Michael Bay, Andrew Form, and Brad Fuller. They wanted to remake Friday next, and spent over a year working out the rights with the various studios involved. When that was settled, they hired the guys who wrote Freddy vs. Jason to write their screenplay. Mark Swift and Damian Shannon decided to abandon the goofiness of their previous film and write a Friday the 13th that took elements from the first 4 movies of the series. This wouldn't just be a remake of the Pamela Voorhees murder spree. Instead, it'd be a best-of version of the pre-zombie Jason Voorhees. That's an excellent approach for such a shallow series, and the result is a resounding success. I'm not usually a fan of remakes because I like to see things that are new, but Friday 09 justifies its existence by being a lean, mean version of the early Friday films. You heard me bemoan how slow and similar those were. This film takes the best parts, cranks the speed to 11, and gives us gold. The non-Jason characters are a weak point as always, but at least some of them are played in a committed, fun way. As for Jason himself, he's probably the scariest he's ever been. Reboot Jason is a survivalist, an agile hunter who grew up fending for himself in the woods. His violence is more targeted and defensive. He's almost like Leatherface, the way he just wants to be left alone. But people won't leave him alone, and those people are gonna wind up dead. How many? Let's find out. The movie begins in 1980. We get in a prologue, motherfuckers! This Sin City-looking opening credits scene is akin to the ending of the original film. An Alice-like counselor is cornered on the beach by Mrs. Voorhees at the end of her killing spree, spurred by the drowning of her son Jason. The counselor cuts off Mrs. Voorhees' head with a machete, giving us our first recreated kill of the film. Turns out Moms was wrong about Jason drowning though. That boy is still living, and now he's all sorts of traumatized, already hearing his mom's voice in his head.
Kill for mother.
Now it's present day, aka 2009. Though it's never specified, the movie probably takes place in New Jersey, despite being filmed around Austin, Texas. A group of horny teens are looking for a field of marijuana plants to make themselves some green.
Do you know how much money we're gonna make selling this weed? We're gonna get a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, you absolute madmen. They end up camping near the remnants of Camp Crystal Lake, which Weedman Wade knows all about. So he gives us Jason's backstory as a campfire tale.
He watched his mom being beheaded.
Good storytelling, dude, but you're no Paul Holt. Whitney here gets bored of the backstory and steps away with her boyfriend Michael, leaving the worst characters behind. And I hate saying that about Richie. He's played by Ben Feldman. That's Ginsberg. And I mean, lots of other roles, sure. But Richie and his girlfriend Amanda are just too damn horny.
You wanna slap that ass one more time for Daddy?
Oh, Daddy like that?
Yeah, Daddy does like it. Daddy likes it a lot.
Seriously, somebody bonk these two. I still think the final chapter is the horniest Friday, and A New Beginning is the sleaziest, but I'll give the remake title of Boobiest Friday for sure. Especially if you're talking director's cut. That thing's more boob than movie. This movie's overwhelming boobosity may have come from Andrew Form and Brad Fuller, Platinum Dunes producers who were very involved during production. They wanted the Friday reboot to be all about blood and boobs.
And it was important to us to bring back the nudity.
For a director, they turned to German filmmaker Marcus Nispel, who had done them well directing the successful Texas Chainsaw reboot. Also returning from the Chainsaw reboot was cinematographer Daniel Pearl, who also shot the original Texas Chainsaw in '74. I like the stark look Nispel and Pearl bring to these movies. And I like that Nispel is seen here sporting a wings cap. Wade goes weed watching and while whizzing gets a win. But it's short-lived. Jason's here and he ain't looking to puff pass. I love how scared Wade gets during this attack. And I'm happy he's the first to go, killed off screen by Jason. That dude was fucking annoying. Now that he's gone, you know the horny couple's gotta go. They hear a noise and Richie leaves to check it out, then Jason cuts through the tent and abducts a lady like this were Friday friggin' 7. Richie runs back to the tent, only to find his girlfriend burning in a sleeping bag and his foot suddenly caught in a bear trap. He's unable to do anything as Amanda burns to death, her body spilling out of the bag after it's done. Always found that one brutal. And broiling. On the days they shot this kill, Amanda's actor America Olivo had to endure 3 hours of putting on fake burnt skin. Meanwhile, her stunt double Donna Evans had to hang inside a sleeping bag with actual fire near it. Evans also had to fall out of the bag without catching herself. That's not easy. Whitney and Mike come across Camp Crystal Lake, sitting abandoned in a dilapidated state. It's a perfect place to explore if you're into busted boob tubes and whistle collections. Mike finds a locket with a picture of a woman inside that looks like Whitney. It's a pic of Pam. We saw little boy Jason collected after her death in the intro. Jason probably still lives here, judging by that bed and the shrine they discovered. Wait, a shrine? That can only mean, yes, a Mrs. Voorhees head! Oh, dude, those are collector's items. A blade begins to pierce through the floor like a BattleBot hazard, and it goes into Mike's legs a whole bunch. The guy is already weak as shit when Jason comes through the floor and kills Mike off screen after dragging him underground. Director Marcus Nispel wanted to avoid CG as much as possible, but since this scene had close-ups on Mike's face, actor Nick Manel couldn't use a stunt double. He just had to hit his marks as the special effects team made pre-programmed fake blades come up out of the floor. Maybe Manel could handle it though, having already faced Rob Zombie's Michael Myers when he played Bob in that remake. Whitney flees from pop-up Jason and runs back to the campsite where she finds the darkest timeline going on. Should have never let Troy get the pizzas. I mean, America has been burned to the ground. Richie's still bear trap boy, but not for long. Jason gets there, hauling ass like a motherfucker, and sticks his machete deep down into Richie's skull. This kill was the first one filmed during production. Ben Feldman had to have his leg in a hole in the ground as a nasty prosthetic was put in the bear trap. For the fatal hack, they used a machete with its blade removed on set. Then a team at Asylum Visual Effects put in the rest of the blade and made half of Feldman's face sag. Can't fake everything though.
I went home that night with footprints on my forehead.
Whitney scrambles away, but Jason runs after her and smacks her into a title card. Yeah, that was just a cold open, y'all. Probably the hottest I've ever seen. Our real story takes place 6 weeks later and follows a different group of horny teens, though none of them as annoying as Wade.
May the force be with you, Schwartz!
I really didn't like that guy. The douchiest one by far is Trent, who's such a dick, he hurries a guy who's trying to find his missing sister.
Hey, are you gonna buy something? I mean, you've been up here for quite a while yapping.
The missing sister is Whitney from the cold open, and this guy is her brother Clay, played by Jared Padalecki. He'd have been 4 seasons into Supernatural by now. 4 seasons of like, what, 32, 33? Trent's girlfriend Jenna, played by Danielle Panabaker, apologizes to Clay before he takes off to search some more. Clay's region-wide mission to find his missing sister is similar to the subplot in Friday 4. There, Rob was looking for Jason, the man who killed his 17-year-old sister in Friday 2. Hope Clay fares better than Rob did. If he does, it won't be with any help from the locals. He's rebuffed by unhelpful cops and ominous old ladies alike. One dude he talks to, Donnie, later heads back to a barn so he can look at porn and fondle mannequins.
You remember that special night we had? Remember when you took my virginity?
Jason was in there and is uncomfortable now, so to break the tension, he attacks Donnie the dummy fucker. During the struggle, Donnie rips the cloth mask off from his face.
What the That shit ain't fucking right, dude.
The D-bag-headed Jason responds with a throat slit from his machete. Sorry, Donnie, but maybe there are mannequins you can fuck in heaven. Jason goes to re-bag his head when he sees something far more interesting, a way to graduate from Friday 2 to Friday 3. Yep, it's a goddamn hockey mask, and Jason, brother, fits you like a glove. Playing Jason Voorhees is Derek Mears, a 6'5" stunt performer and actor. He had been in The Hills Have Eyes too, and would play a predator the next year. Mears was a huge fan of Friday as a franchise and Jason as a character.
That's Jason. Oh, is that me? It's so wild.
He has alopecia and said that when his hair fell out as a child, he saw little boy Jason as someone he could relate to. Mears could bring the scary chops to play Jason since he was a cage fighter, but he also has a background in improv comedy and is known as one of the sweetest dudes ever.
Every day, he was a pleasure to be around and just a happy, grateful guy to work with.
I just think the world of him.
Mears was recommended for the role by Scott Stoddard, who helped bring this Jason to life as the movie's makeup artist. Stoddard, who also worked on the Texas Chainsaw remake, designed this Jason just like the script was written, using the best bits and pieces from the first 4 films. He took Jason's asymmetrical face from parts 1 and 4 and mixed it with his mountain man appearance from part 2. Stoddard designed a head wrap for Jason to wear like the part 2 potato sack, and resculpted the hockey mask from scratch with a design based on the one in part 3. Trent drives his friends to Crystal Lake, where his family owns a cabin. Pretty dope place, I ain't about to lie, which is probably why Trent's so prissy about it.
Guys, wash the floor, alright? Please.
That's stained oak.
Like I said, Trent is a supreme asshole, but Travis Van Winkle plays him so well, I actually end up respecting it.
This is an outside game.
Real dumb fact about his character though, Trent first appeared in Transformers, made by Platinum Dunes producer Michael Bay. So Jason and Optimus Prime share a universe? That's weird. I also like the performances by Arlen Escarpeta and Aaron Yu as Lawrence and Chewie, the stoners of the crew. Yu was later in the much worse Nightmare remake, while Escarpeta is currently the last person killed in a Final Destination movie. They make the most of the material they're given, which is nakedly stereotypical. All these characters care about is drinking, drugs, and getting their D's wet. Nolan and Chelsea are also here, and they're not very good friends to Trent.
Now what does that say about me? That the second that Trent said, "Don't take my boat out," it was guaranteed that I would.
Why is this guy evil Owen Wilson? They take Trent's boat out on the lake, and to get this movie's boob quota fulfilled, Chelsea wakeboards topless. Actor Willa Ford wasn't sure about doing the scene, but said it ended up being a good time.
When I left my top, funniest thing is there was nothing sexual about it for me. It was like liberation.
She wipes out hard, but don't worry, girl. Nolan's happy to bring the boat back around. Never mind, he's got an arrow through his head. But how? That boat is so far out in the lake. Might as well have been an arrow shot from Mars. The boat, without a driver, speeds right into Chelsea's head, giving her a bump on the noggin and leaving Jason the Archer intrigued. Yeah, Chelsea, that's Jason the Archer. He's also Jason the Bladesman. He's multi-versatile. Originally, Chelsea was going to die in a sort of psychological way. Jason simply waited her out until she got too tired to tread water and she drowned. I think that would have been great, but the death they went with works as an encapsulation of the entire franchise. Jason stabs her with his machete and gives us a helping of boobs and blood before moving on to his next victim. I like seeing how Ford had to be pulled up by a cable system here. That's fun.
Oh my god, okay.
Clay's door-to-door search for his sister leads to Trent's cabin, where Jenna answers the door and is nice to him. She's sick of Trent, who acts like an exploding douchebag and kicks Clay out of the cabin. Joke's on you though, brah, because Jenna offers to help Clay on his search. The two of them explore the woods and eventually the abandoned Camp Crystal Lake. Then it gets dark real fast. Huh, was there some kind of time lapse or something? While searching through the last cabin, the floor gives out. Ah, just what I thought. Doll infestation. Y'all gonna have to tent that cabin. On their way out, they hear and hide from someone coming. Jason carrying a headless body with him. When J-Man sees Clay's backpack, he goes on high alert, turning on floodlights and searching through his collection of canoes. I love this portrayal of Jason as an intelligent and savvy backwoodsman. Case in point, this tripwire that Clay and Jenna hit on their way out. It rings a bell in a subterranean layer, which is where Jason has Whitney. He's keeping her safe because she looks like his mom, which was pointed out by Mike before he died.
It looks like you.
This scene is longer in the director's cut, and I'm sad they cut what they did. I like Jason sharpening his machete and the whole thing where Whitney gets away for a little bit. But this kill count is using the theatrical version as far as death time codes go. Back at the cabin, horny girl BREE dances in a way so cliche, it's indistinguishable from the parody in Cabin in the Woods. To be fair though, that's kind of what they're going for here.
Let's just all be one big happy cliche.
A flaming shot causes Chewie to break an old family chair, and to calm the angry Trent down, BREE leads him into the bedroom. There, they have the most ridiculous sex scene ever, complete with porn-worthy dialogue.
Your tits are stupendous. Your tits are fucking just so juicy, dude. You got perfect nipple placement, baby.
Jenna and Clay get back to the cabin, and I guess the threat of a killer outside is enough to make her not care that her boyfriend's banging someone else. There's never a single line from her acknowledging that happened. Chewie is out in the shed looking for tools to fix that chair. Ah yes, scotch, the perfect wood adhesive. He ends up breaking a light with a hockey stick, after which Jason shows up.
Are you looking for this? Cause it completes your outfit.
Jason attacks Chewie and kills him by sticking a screwdriver in his neck for a very long time. And you know the sound Chewie's making there too. You know, something like Aaron Yu had to get an appendectomy during production, but despite his stomach still having stitches in it, he wanted to go all out filming his death scene.
He starts to choke, and he's gagging. And he goes to the ground, and we end the scene. I go, dude, are you okay? What's going on? And he goes, no. I had the blood in my mouth, and rather than just coming out of my mouth, I try to inhale it into my sinuses so it will come out. And I go, you are far too committed for this.
Jason cuts the lights of the cabin, causing Lawrence to realize that Chewie might be in trouble.
My boy's still out there. I'm gonna go get him.
Man, Lawrence and Chewie really do a lot to make this movie's character group bearable. He heads out to the shed and finds Chewie's dead body, then finds Jason, the man responsible for it. Lawrence puts up a decent fight and gets away momentarily, but the J-Man grabs an axe and fells the poor guy by chucking it into his back. Holy damn, Jason, you could hustle at the Ren Fair, dude. Lawrence cries out for help, but Clay reminds Jenna that this Jason's a crafty son of a Pam.
He's using your friend as bait.
And so, Lawrence is left outside dying until Jason puts him out of his misery by flipping him onto his back, driving that axe through his torso. And wait, now Jason's on the roof? Don't you start that teleporting shit, mister! While Trent is grabbing a gun to take back control of the situation, Bree goes upstairs and winds up by herself in a room where the window's open. It's open because J-Man's in the house! He grabs Bree and suffocates her for a bit before impaling her on an antler-shaped clothes hanger. Guess he's leaving her out to die. The police show up thanks to a phone call from Clay before Jason cut the phone lines. Officer Brackey here had earlier told Clay to go home, but now he's ready to be helpful, and Jason's ready for him to be dead. Jason stabs him through the eye in one of my favorite shots. I love how it pans through the wall like that. Actor Richard Burgi wore a vacuform plate over his eye with a silicone appliance of a fire poker handle attached. In keeping with Nispel's goal to have as little CG as possible, this camera movement was done practically and looks friggin' great. The trio of survivors run outside and Trent hops into the cop car. Before he can get it running though, Bree's body crashes through the windshield. All screamed out, Trent takes off by himself and ends up on the side of a road. After nearly getting hit, Trent is beckoned forward by a truck driver. And don't worry, Trent, Jason's not driving that truck, it's just an old man. Jason's standing behind you. Trent is killed by Jason with a machete and a hay baler in the back of the truck. Ha, then his body goes off for a ride. Bye! This kill is so over the top because it needs to be. Trent's an asshole and we spend the entire movie waiting for him to die. Jason's stab and saw was done with a simple slider device worn by Travis Van Winkle.
I think this is the Slidey McDougal. That's what I call it.
He was then affixed to a wire system that stuck him to the right spot on the back of that truck. Clay and Jenna get back to Camp Crystal Lake, and when Whitney hears them walking around, she screams up for help. Clay finds a hatch that leads him and Jenna into Jason's subterranean hang zone. It's got a wheelchair as a reference to Mark from Friday 2. Jason's tunnel system, which was built on a soundstage, was written to explain how he could pop up seemingly anywhere. They wanted to avoid any suggestions of teleportation. This Jason isn't supernatural in the slightest. Underground, Clay finally finds his sister Whitney. Aw, that's nice. As he breaks the chains that bind her, Jason hops back down into his pad. Y'all best get the fuck on out of there. Jason sees that he has company, and that dude's fast when he's pissed. I know Jason ran a bit in parts 2, 3, and 4, but that always felt like he was pretend running. This Jason hauls ass. As they're squeezing through a narrow point to get back above ground, Jenna is stabbed through the back in a surprising kill. Danielle Panabaker is grade A final girl material. Can't believe she's gone in a flash like that. Clay and Whitney climb out through a school bus and run through the rain to a farm. It's where Clay had talked to Donnie earlier. You know, when Donnie was using a wood chipper. So yeah, that thing's here. As Clay is looking for weapons, Jason pulls the old Feldman pants shitter and jumps through a window exactly like he did in the final chapter. He and Clay fight for a bit, and it's honestly kind of even. I mean, both these dudes are pretty much the exact same height. The wood chipper gets turned on, and Jason sees it as a quick opportunity. Why, with this, he could kill Clay in a New York minute. Before he can, Whitney steps out to do the Mama Voorhees act.
Jason!
Yep, she's imitating Mrs. Voorhees, since remember, she looks like her. It's in the locket. It's a move borrowed from Ginny in Friday 2, and it works just as effectively here. The distraction allows Clay to get some chains around Jason's neck, which Whitney then tosses into the wood chipper. The gears pull Jason up and start to hang him from the rafters, reminding me of what Chris Higgins did to the J-Man in part 3. But nothing from the older movies matched Jason's fate here, which is only sealed after Whitney hits him with a yo mama joke.
Say hi to mommy in hell!
Whitney's actor Amanda Rigetti didn't even want to say that line.
I fought that tooth and nail. I was like, oh, guys, really? That's cheesy.
Cheesy or not, she kills Jason when his head goes back into the grinder. And yeah, I'll count him as dead here. In this timeline, he's not a Superman or anything. The sun rises and they toss Jason's body into the lake, followed by his mask and his mama locket, both of which sink to the bottom. And I'm still saying he's dead even though he pops up through the dock at the end. I feel like that's more of a reference to all those chair jumper dream endings than an actual canonical statement that Jason Voorhees somehow survived. How many bodies did we find at our last stop on the Friday recount train? Let's find out and run like Jason to the numbers. I counted 15 kills in the Friday the 13th reboot. 10 of the victims were male and only 5 were female, giving us a 2-to-1 ratio of dudes. With a runtime of 97 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 6.47 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Amanda. A lot of great kills in this one, but her sleeping bag roasting still feels the most horrific to me. Plus, she was oiling herself up before it happened. That skin would have been so crispy. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to Mike, who got pulled underground and killed off screen. Fun fact, it wasn't Derek Mears playing Jason here. He was off getting married and someone else filled in for him. That means Mike got killed by Jason Zoran, pretty much. And that's it. The Friday the 13th reboot came out in 2009, and despite a solid box office performance, it was the last feature film in the franchise. There have been some solid fan shorts, and the video game was great when it got updates, but movie theaters have been VOORHEES free for over a decade now. Hopefully that changes with the recent lawsuit developments, and if it does, you know where to come for the kill count, after a Blu-ray release. Until next time, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
Alright, I have no idea how to sell you the next movie.
Happy birthday, Billy.
I mean, how the fuck do you talk about spooky? Where do I start? The fact that it's 2 movies made into one?
Hey, don't look at me. You're the one asking the stupid questions.
Or maybe I should start simple and just talk about the shit monster. Oh, what? You don't like potty humor?
Funny. Ha ha.
How about bitchin' looking Grim Reaper guy? They'll fucking explode! Spooky's got shit for everyone. You want a warlock? Check. Madonna Bride? You know it. Human cat pet in a vest who has a hook for a hand? Fuck yeah, dude.
This is so weird.
And all that's only from one half of the movie, y'all.
It's okay.
I ain't even get to the guy wearing trash bags or the amazing Spider-Woman. The only way to experience Spookies is to watch it for yourself.
Oh, man.
So do that this weekend using Shudder. And on Sunday, that's Halloween, motherfuckers! Tune in for the Kill Count so I can explain what the fuck you just watched. Only on Dead Meat. Spooky!
At the moment, I'm much too sober to appreciate it.
Spookies can currently be watched on the pictured streaming platforms. Dead Meat always recommends you watch the movie for yourself before its kill count. It's the only way to have your own properly informed opinion. Kill counts are never meant to replace the experience of watching a film.
Thanks a lot for watching this week's Kill Count. I want to thank some patrons like Jordan, David Massey, Elijah Selvage, Fanner, Matthew Puff, and VXCBVF. That's it! That is the Friday the 13th franchise all done and recounted! Why did I do all these recounts? Watch the beginning of the first one. I spell it all out right there. But now we're done, and we probably won't have any other recounts for a while. Seems like viewers want me to cover movies I haven't talked about before, which will be the case in November. Just you wait. Thanks everyone. Be good people.